In order to form a more perfect union, Congress had to decide the fate of an island. 2 states wanted it, and it was a prize worth fighting for. The island is bigger than some of our biggest cities like Boston, Pittsburgh, Miami, San Francisco. And it's bigger than Washington, D.C., where its fate was decided. In 1834, Congress settled the dispute by breaking New Jersey's heart and declaring that Staten Island belongs to New York. Staten Island has the smallest population of New York City's 5 boroughs, but that still means it has more people than Miami or Atlanta or New Orleans. It's a big piece of America, permanently overshadowed by bigger pieces called Brooklyn and Queens and the Bronx and Manhattan. You've seen all those places in movies and in TV shows, but you've almost never seen Staten Island. To see Staten Island, all of it, would be to rewrite your understanding of New York City. It is the place in New York City where wild deer run across roadways. It is not the New York City you know. It is a place apart from New York City, 5 miles from the water, over water, on the ferry from Manhattan, and in many ways, it might as well be a world away. Staten Island has almost everything that the rest of New York City has, except skyscrapers, but it has much more. Wherever you live in America, Staten Island has a street that looks like a street in your town. Rich-looking suburban streets with mansions, small town streets with handsome, humble homes that families hold on to for generations. If you got lost in the middle of Staten Island, you could be in a spot that you might mistake for Vermont or West Virginia. It is America's biggest small town. It's easy to forget about Staten Island, and it's very easy for New Yorkers in the other boroughs to forget about Staten Island. I know countless lifelong New Yorkers who've never been to Staten Island, never seen it. And that's fine with Staten Island most of the time. Staten Island doesn't rely on tourism or visitors for any of its vitality. It welcomes tourists off the ferry and rewards them if they're able to make their own way to find the great pizza and see the sights like the oldest house on the island, built in 1662. But if the rest of New York wants to ignore Staten Island, that's okay with Staten Island, because most of the people on the island and most of the people they love and care about live on Staten Island. New York's mayors and police commissioners never have to worry about Staten Island. It always has the lowest crime rate. Calling City Hall for help is not a call Staten Island makes very often. But tonight, while life in most of the rest of the boroughs in New York City is getting back to normal, Staten Island is suffering the most. Most people on the island do not have electricity. More than half of the now 37 storm-related deaths in New York City have occurred on Staten Island. 19 dead on Staten Island alone. Tonight, Staten Island doesn't want to be ignored. Tonight, for once, Staten Island needs help from City Hall, but Staten Island needs more than New York's help. Staten Island now needs America's help.